Haven't we done this before?
I have no record of a previous encounter.
We have met. I am sure of it.
Fight!
What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. First and foremost, I recently hit 1,000 subs, so I just want to thank all of you guys who have subscribed to this channel for making it happen. Just a month ago, I only had 143 subs, so thanks a lot for your support. I really do appreciate it. Now, today, I want to talk a little bit about the road ahead for Xbox. At the beginning of this generation, Xbox tripped over themselves, and they've been paying for that shit ever since. They don't plan on doing that again this upcoming generation. So far, everything they're doing is great. They built a fantastic machine, cementing themselves as the ones with the power advantage going into next gen. 12 T-flops, yo! As I've stated in many videos before, power doesn't equal good games. But they've invested a lot of money in new studios who will hopefully be delivering good games. Like I said in my video yesterday, the console with the better games, regardless of specs, will be the superior machine. Being the superior machine doesn't guarantee victory in the console wars. Even if Microsoft does everything perfect and delivers banger after banger when it comes to quality games, the road ahead is going to be a very fucking difficult one. Microsoft has a much harder path to victory than its competition. Now, Xbox fanboys, I'm going to say some shit that you probably don't want to hear. Maybe some you don't want to accept, but if you give me a chance and listen objectionally, I think you might understand why winning is going to be very hard for Microsoft. There are just a lot of obstacles between them and victory. Some they have control over, and then some they have zero control over whatsoever. Anyway, let's get into it. The first obstacle, and probably the most obvious one, is install base. The install base for the PlayStation is just massive when compared to the Xbox. It's a little over 2 to 1. And that's just something that's going to be very, very hard to overcome going into the next generation. Especially because this obstacle actually feeds directly into the next obstacle. The next obstacle is actually a 2-in-1. It's backwards compatibility and digital libraries. One of the biggest advantages that Xbox had in this previous generation, or rather the generation that we're in now, is due to the cell processor in the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 4 was not backwards compatible, so you could not bring your game library with you when moving onto PlayStation 4. This is an advantage that is erased in the next generation, because PlayStation 5 will be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. Because of that, it's not very likely that someone with a large PlayStation 4 library is going to throw it all away in order to jump to another platform. It's even less likely that someone with a digital library is going to do that. At least if you have a physical library, those games hold value. You can trade them in, you can sell them, you can extract some of that value, you can get some of that value back. But with the digital library, if you decide that you're going to jump to another platform, you lose all of that value. Asking someone to throw away hundreds, even possibly thousands of dollars worth of games is a very hard sell. It's for that very reason that many analysts say that this generation was the one to win, the one that we're in now, because winning this generation creates a ripple effect going forward that's very hard to stop. The next obstacle, and probably one of the biggest, is regions outside North America. Here's the list of the top 10 best-selling consoles of all time. There's only one Xbox console on this list. Meanwhile, PlayStation has 4. 5 if you count the fucking PSP. The reason for this is all the regions outside of North America. Let me break it down for you guys. This is a list of global sales for each platform, broken down by region, provided by VGCharts.com. You can see in North America, Xbox and PlayStation are very competitive. I think the only Xbox that ever actually outsold the PlayStation was the 360, but still, they're very competitive. Xbox One sold 30 million and PlayStation 4 sold 36 million. But the second you go to Europe, that competitive shit goes out the window. The Xbox One sold just shy of 12 million, while the PlayStation was at 45. It's even fucking worse once you get to Japan. PlayStation sold a little over 9 million, and no, that is not a typo. The Xbox sold just a little over 100,000. That's not even fucking close. 9 million compared to 100,000? Japan just doesn't care about Xbox. This is why Phil Spencer is looking at possibly acquiring a Japanese studio, and it's also why they're investing more in JRPGs. They're trying to expand their appeal in Japan because that's by far the place where there is the largest deficit. It doesn't get much better when you look at the sales in the rest of the world. And it's not just with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. This is historical. Even if we go back to the last generation with the 360 and the PS3, the only time Xbox actually broke the top 10, the 360 actually kicked PlayStation's ass in North America. Like, really kicked its ass. But in the rest of the world, in all the regions outside North America, PlayStation kicked its ass. Enough so to where PlayStation actually outsold the Xbox 360. The 360 actually sold so well in North America that a lot of people still believe to this day that the Xbox 360 won the last generation, just because in North America there are so many of them. But the fact is, it didn't. PS3 won the last generation. The Xbox has actually never beaten PlayStation ever. It has lost every single console generation to PlayStation. And it's because of all the regions outside of North America that happens. I can't tell you why that is. I don't know if it's cultural. Honestly, I have no idea what it is, but it just seems that the rest of the world prefers PlayStation for whatever reason that may be. And for that reason, this is probably the hardest obstacle for Microsoft to overcome moving into the next generation. The next obstacle is actually one of Microsoft's own doing, and I think it's one that actually hurt it this generation as well, and that's their Play Anywhere initiative. The Play Anywhere initiative means if you own a PC, you can play every single Xbox game. There's no incentive for a PC player to go out and purchase an Xbox. Want to play Halo? Want to play Gears? Want to play Forza? And you got a PC? You're all set. You don't gotta do shit. Just purchase the games and you're good. In contrast, if you want to play any of the PlayStation exclusives and you're on PC, well, you need to go buy a PlayStation. Yes, some of them are coming to PC, but it's years later. Like Horizon Zero Dawn still hasn't come to PC, and that game released in 2017. So for example, if you want to play The Last of Us 2 when it comes out next month and you're on PC and you don't have a PlayStation, you need to get a PlayStation. But when Halo Infinite comes out this holiday and you're on PC, all you gotta do is buy Halo Infinite. You do not have to go buy an Xbox. At the end of the day, the Play initiative may be good for Microsoft, but it's bad for Xbox. And this is an obstacle that's going to be hard for Microsoft to overcome next generation because it's their own obstacle. Realistically, the only way to overcome it is to remove the Play Anywhere initiative. And if they do that, it's going to spark outrage. So for better or worse, the Play initiative is here to stay. And like I said, that may be good for Microsoft, but it's bad for Xbox. While these obstacles are going to be difficult to overcome, it's not impossible. And anything could happen next generation. I mean, just look what happened with PlayStation moving from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. They went from selling 157 million PlayStation 2s to only 87 million PlayStation 3s. The difference there, however, though, was the PlayStation 3 had all the obstacles in front of it. It was releasing a year later than the Xbox 360. It was releasing at $600, and it released with the cell processor, which developers hated, and also meant that multi-platform games usually ran much better on the 360. When all the obstacles were removed and it was more of a level playing field moving into this generation, PlayStation destroyed Xbox. Moving into the next generation, it's no longer a level playing field though. Xbox has actually taken on additional obstacles. It's because of this, it's going to be an extreme uphill battle in order for Xbox to win the next generation. But like I said, anything can happen, and nothing is impossible. Well, that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Xbox has a shot next generation? Or do you think there's just too much for it to overcome? Let me know what you think, and as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next Supernova.